Good evening. Good evening, everyone. We're ready to start. Thank you. Good evening. The regular meeting of the Independent School District 279 School Board is called to order at 6:00 p.m. on November 19th, 2024. This regular business meeting of the Osseo School Board is being conducted in the boardroom of the Educational Service Center. The meeting can be monitored electronically by streaming online from the district website. An archived recording of tonight's meeting will also be on the website. Seated in front of you this evening from my left to your right are Director Thomas Brooks, Director Heather Douglas, Director Tanya Prince, myself, Jackie Mosqueda-Jones, Director Sarah Mitchell, and Director Tamara Grady. Also present in the boardroom is Superintendent Dr. Kim Heil and members of the Superintendent's Cabinet, as well as our amazing student school board representatives, Reason Atkins for 279 Online, Antoinette Brown for Osseo Senior, Naomi Cooper Greer for Park Center Senior High, and Gavin Chabaka for Maple Grove. Did I say that right? Chabika. I used to have the pronunciation in here, and I don't. Oh, sorry, sorry, Gavin. All right, those of you who can stand, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Director Mitchell, will you please lead us?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Board members, I'm asking permission to change the order of the agenda before I ask for additions. So we would like to request a change in the order of one agenda item. Are there any objections to moving the fiscal year 2024 financial audit results to agenda item 7, which would be after the student school board representative reports? Any objections?
No.
All right, so we will proceed with the financial audit results after the student school board reports. Asking that, are there any other additions or changes to the agenda tonight? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept the agenda as revised?
So moved.
Moved by Director Brooks. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Director Mitchell. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes 6-0. Ooh, there we go. All right, our next standing agenda item is recognitions, and we are very happy tonight to welcome members of Grove Area Percussion, state champions for percussion, Scholastic A. School board members and Dr. Heil will be moving to the stand in front of the board dais. As we do that, I ask that Director Mike Brown please step up to the podium to introduce yourself, share an overview of Grove Area Percussion, and then introduce your amazing scholars. We'd like to take a group photo afterwards, so please don't run away after everyone's gone through the congratulations. All right, so with that, we're going to move.
Hello. My name is Mike Brown. Most people call me Brownie. When I came up in the drumline marching band circuit, there was a lot of Mikes and Michaels, so all of us got our own nicknames. Mine isn't super fancy. My last name is Brown, so there you go. Grove Area Percussion is the competitive indoor drumline for the district. We pull from the three high schools, Park Center, Osseo, and Maple Grove. And this is our 10th year competing, so we're going into our 10th competitive year. So we started back in the fall of 2015. And this past year was the first time that we achieved the state championship in the Class A. So there are multiple competitive classes, and you kind of pick based on your skill sets. And A class in Minnesota has the most groups, so inherently it's the most competitive group. And we moved to that class in 2022, and that year we got 3rd place. In 2023, we got 2nd place, and then last year we got 1st place. Yeah. And the other thing, so that's the local circuit. We also compete in WGI, which is the national circuit. And every 2 years, we go out to lovely Dayton, Ohio, and compete with groups from all over the nation. And in 2022, we were 17th in the nation in our class. And this past year, we made it into finals at 13th. So to make it into finals, to be able to perform 3 times out at Dayton means you are among the elite. So we were able to do that this past year as well, so that was really cool. And I'll just go through and I'm gonna read off the names of the kids that are here. A few of them have graduated and they're not here, and a bunch of the other ones have a band concert with Maple Grove tonight. So I'll just run through. This is alphabetical order. Allison Bell. If you can walk up, come through and then wait over there, please. Allison Buckles. Caitlin DeVay. Riley Gaddis. Maya George. Peyton Cans. Leah McShane. Allison's, stay over there. Leah Adelaide Ness. Caitlin Oswell. Brecken Peterson. I don't know if Brecken came, he was on the list. Nope. Alea Porter. Jameson Rodriguez. Max Sivak. Kaylee Stark. Shay Terry. And Alex Turnham. I don't know if you need anything else from me. All right.
Wait, I just have one question. Is this a Maui fishhook? Is that what it is? Yeah, we're trying to figure out what your necklace is.
Yeah, so when we first started, we incorporated the Hey Matau, which is what that symbol is, kind of into the things that make sense for the group, like ethos, you know? And so you earn that about halfway through the season before the competitive season starts. Our seasons are kind of broke up into about 3 months of training and then about 2.5, 3 months of competitions. And so before we move into the competitive side, I personally go through and I make all of them with the bead. Every year you're here, you get a blue bead. When you're a senior, you get a green bead. When you're on staff, you have a different bead. So I go through and I make those, and then we hand them out on history night where we learn about, you know, our first days and our current days and everything in between. So, cool. Yeah.
Okay, if the percussion team would move forward here.
It's heavy. I've been here since
Jackie, do you want to come forward? I can see you, so you should be facing in the window. All right, big smile. 1, 2, 3. I heard you on your tippy toes.
Okay, one more round of applause. Thank you so much. Good job, team. Don't go anywhere yet. I'm going to say something. At each business meeting, we are pleased to share various district programming or performances with the public. This evening, we're showcasing Indigenous programming, and we're so very happy to have several students here. Board members, will you take a seat in the front, please? Oh, you don't need it, I don't think it will. All right, Ethan. You're on.
Hamidaki api yuha chandewa stena pe choose api wa shichu ya ithanirde as a maki api da kota chaje kin tachcha tashotanku we chashta chashma tumpi da makoto yati bitabe wakantwa we chaki api do na kuma petuk de da kodi api ga hakatwa ya api dokit kedun hadukinipi won da kapik de na ku hekta oko won speko yamani hakatwa ya api won spe chichi api Wana Washichui Waikte. Hello, relatives. It's good to see all of you here. My tax name is Ethan Neerdales. My real name is Tachcha Tashiotankawi Chashta. I come from the Bidewakantuan Dakota people. We're the original nation here in this place, Minnesota Makoche, the land where the waters reflect the skies. And today we're just here to talk a little bit about our languages, Dakota Iapi and Ojibwe Moan, which are the original languages of this land base. We like to think of English as a foreign language when we think about ours. And so anyways, for the past several decades, the Indian Education Program has been offering Dakota and Ojibwe language tables intergenerationally for students and families within our district. It wasn't until last year that we were able to add our languages for credit in each of the high schools. And these classes have been attended by a wide array of students, both native and non-native. A lot of people are not aware that our district has over 550 American Indian students from over 90 different tribal nations here in the district. And these language classes are very important. If you think we've added, Spanish language, Heritage Hmong, a lot of other languages that are more recent to this land. So there's a lot of strategic investment that goes in from our community into bringing these languages back to health. There's not a lot of the same curriculum that you see for a Spanish language class or more commonly taught languages. So a lot of the burden falls onto our students, the parents, the elders in our community, and especially the teachers. And so this evening we have 3 of the learners of the Ojibwe language here, and they'll be sharing a little bit about themselves, the importance of their language learning journey. But before that, I'll turn it over to their Ojibwe language instructor, one of my colleagues in Indian education, Brad Hagan.
Bonjour, Ginoa. Opichi Indigu. Brad Hagan, Indigenous Jagana Shimong. I'm really glad you're all here today. My real name is Opichi. My English name is Brad Hagan. As Ethan said, I'm the Ojibwe language teacher here in this district. Really glad my students can be here today, and maybe I should say our students, since school board leaders, you guys, these are your students too, But yeah, I'm not gonna talk as much as my boss. I want these kids to get up here and say their piece, So thank you. I'm really glad to be here. And also thank you to Dr. Brian Bass for asking us to be here today. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm up? Oh, shoot. All right. Anin Indinoy Magantog, Michael Indigenous cause, Zagakwandigo Ninwag Nindun Jaba, Minoa Dikindudum. Hello, my fellow two-leggeds. My name is Michael, and I'm from Boys Fort. It's a reservation about 4 or 5 hours north of here. My clan is Caribou, which is even further north, about halfway through Canada. I'm in my 3rd year learning our language under Brad Hagan, but my 2nd year for credit. Though the classes are still in their baby years, just being started last year, they are still precious to us. One of the most important things about any culture is its history and customs. For us as Anishinaabe, most of it can be found in our language. We are a descriptive people. Over half of our language is verbs. We use so many that we have different subsections of verbs. VAI, VII, VTI, and VTA. Every word has its own meaning, its sale. We might not have the pages since we're an oral history keeper, but all of our creation stories have a meaning. One of the creation stories is the story of our language. It has our uncle spirit, the trickster spirit, who goes by many names, Nanabush, Winabojo, Nanabuju, being assigned a task from the creator, Gitchamunadu, to give everything a name. The way our class is run, in my opinion, is very helpful. Brad gives us many tips for becoming fluent, like labeling things you use every day. For example, the pens that you probably have at every desk could be labeled OJB gun, the pencil OJB ganak, the table that you have all of your computers on, a dupoin. A lot of what we do is based on what we're struggling with. So for some, it could be pronunciation. For others, it's getting down new vocabulary. Everything that we do in this class is tailored to each individual. So while the rest of the class could be working on a review that comes easy for me, I'll learn about something else in our language, like a conjugation pattern that we haven't talked about. The classes run smoothly. We rarely have any problems. The class is a lightweight course. This means you don't need to worry about a load of work like you would in Calc BC. It is an elective after all, but the class is fun with random discussion work. The class is helpful, it's useful, and I enjoy it. I enjoyed this class and learning Ojibwe Mon. Miigwech Pizendawieg.
Baju, Jalen Kokotovich, Indigenous Cause, Megizi Indudame, Gawaba Wabanakog, Indujaba, Broken Park, Indanugam, Nejada Park Center. Ojibwe is the language of my people. Growing up, I wasn't able to speak Ojibwe because I didn't know it was a thing. I knew I was Ojibwe, I knew where I was from, but I didn't know our language. Nearly 100 years ago, the government made sovereign nations go into residential schools. They made us cut our hair and assimilate to their way. And in that process, we lost our language and how we communicate with one another. But now there are barely any survivors left, but the ones that are still here tell their stories and speak their language. They've taught their children and their children's children who they are and their language. I've gotten the honor of learning Ojibwe in my sophomore year of high school. My teacher is Bradley Hagan. He's been so excited about teaching Ojibwe to his students, and he is so passionate about it. And it is exciting to learn Ojibwe from him. We've had so many opportunities to go on field trips and learn about our Indigenous culture and who we are, and learn more about the language. We've been very lucky to have a teacher like Brad who teaches Ojibwe, and he has put so much time and effort into the language courses in the high schools. He's an incredible teacher and is great at his job, and as the Ojibwe teacher, and as the Indian teacher. Miigwech.
Bonjour, Kichimuko Manak, Hero Mazy Indigenous Cause. Makade Canoe Indigo, Mayin Gun Indudem, Wikinakwaja Winkawe, Miss Quagamiwi Zaga Ikening Indunjaba, Kakabakang in Danungum, Asio Senior High, and Nija Gekanoa Made Wigamagang. Ojibwe classes have value to the curriculum because of the historical context, cognitive development it can provide, and communication and community it has brought thus far, and we hope to continue. Historically, Indigenous languages have been repressed and ridiculed in professional and educational settings. The treatment of Native people and culture has been abhorrent at the hands of the American government, from suppression to reserves of land and unambiguous massacres. Language has been lost. There are 573 federally recognized tribes in the United States today. This is after extensive refinement. Tribes were wiped out or merged from many into one. A significant amount was lost to the expansion of European conquest. Because of that disease, so many are disconnected from who they are as Indigenous people, and some never got the chance to see modern day. Ojibwe in school offers a minuscule amount of rebuilding after historical mistreatment. My own Nukomis, Sylvia Poitra, was a survival of residential schools among many other victims. Supposed education-based facilities where assimilation and removing Native culture and language was the priority. She has since passed in 2019, however, she refused to speak her language until her very last day. I don't want this to be the reality for any more of our Native relatives. Putting the historical and possible political nuance aside, Ojibwe has value in its potential to increase cognitive development and encourage a deeper understanding of English as you learn another language, especially that of a somewhat parallel Algonquin language. While Ojibwe and Dakota are off topic, all Indigenous languages should be taken into consideration. It is of utmost importance to encourage longevity of one of our surviving languages, such as Ojibwe. It is also of notoriety that as the original people, Ojibwe and other native languages alike should be a priority. It is a dialect of the land which has been taken. It is a very absolute least to incorporate classes into the curriculum. To me personally, Ojibwe has value in how it connects me to my family. When I return to Turtle Mountain or Red Lake, Ojibwe allows me to communicate with my relatives in a more personal way. Ojibwe brings representation to us as a racial, cultural, and political group. It is more than just words, it is our way. Oral history is significant within Native communities, and that history resonates more when provided in its original form. Miigwech Bizindawiek.
Alright, big smiles. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
They did great, didn't they? I do have to have one personal note. I brag about our Indigenous program to other districts, because I think Ethan does an amazing job, and so do all the other people with him. All right, our next agenda item is the Student School Board Representative Reports. Reason, will you please share your report?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Reason Atkins, representing 279 Online. 279 Online has been focused hard this month on locking in for the end of their trimester. We have a virtual bingo night coming up this Thursday, which is a great opportunity for scholars to win cool prizes and other items like that. There are a few areas we are working on as a school currently to make us better, but giving us a new trimester gives us a fresh start to work on that. So I hope everyone has a Thanksgiving, and that is all I have for you tonight.
Thank you. Thank you, Reason. Antoinette, will you please share your report?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Antoinette Brown, and I'm representing Osseo Senior High. Recently, Osseo Senior High has had the highest number of students in our health science magnet program, while also having those OEC students wrap up their OEC fall camp. Recently, Unified has started something new at Osseo called the Osseo Kindness page on Instagram. This Instagram page helps spread kindness throughout the school on and off social media. Once you see a student doing an act of kindness, you send it in. Adding on to that, Osseo's Black Student Union has brought a safe space for Black students to talk about their experiences, struggles, and mental health at our recent Let's Talk About It. At this meeting, each member of the group dressed up as a different emotion from inside out that expressed how we were feeling that day, while also having a warm invite for Dr. Hal this month. This month has been filled with so much student engagement and academic involvement. Not only when we don't only embrace our students, but our staff as well. 7 staff members were honored at our school and topped off with the celebration for Veterans Day. Meanwhile, Link Crew visited Second Harvest this month and helped our Brooklyn Park community, where we packed boxes of food. We were able to see the difference we made at the end of this shift. We packed 15,000 meals, which weigh 18,000 pounds. Moving on to end of fall sports, Quinlan Runquist took 9th place in section finals AAA cross country meet for the 3rd time straight, while also sending our volleyball team to semifinals Jade Evans made top 25 in the state for Star Tribute. This year, we've had our special senior spotlight, Cindy Colley, who's also in the crowd right now, so you can give a little wave. Our girls soccer team went 500 for the first time in a decade. Boys soccer, John Filey making it to state. Finally, this wraps up our 100 years of excellence for Tri One.
Thank you, Antoinette. Naomi, will you share your report?
Hello again. I am Naomi Cooper-Rear, and I represent Park Center. November was a month of change, growth, and development for the students at our Park Center High School. Most of our students are wrapping up classes and going through rigorous amounts of final assignments and tests, but everybody is making their way through it and ready for the Thanksgiving break. Moving on, I'd like to give a showcase of several of our activities that we have, and they did outstanding this month. I'd first like to start with our fall play that was displayed just last week. From the actors to the directors and even the people in the crew, everybody expressed passion with their craft that they took a part in. It was a very alluring performance that made the audience feel the emotion of the show. Next, I'd like to proceed to our Mod UN team. On the Friday the 15th, our Mod UN team had a conference and they made connections with other schools like there was no tomorrow. They came home with awards and stuff, and I was like, man, I want to be a part of Mod UN. But speaking of awards, our adapted soccer team, again and again and again, they just keep on going to state, making us proud. They got 4th and 3rd place in state. They are one of our most highest scoring teams in Park Center. They really do need a round of applause, and I gave them that. Thank you. I'll show them this later. We are so proud of all of our activities at Park Center who just bring home that gold. Inside of our school hours, all of our students in our Spanish classes were able to experience Park Center's very own Dia de los Muertos celebration. This celebration was hosted by our very own Spanish heritage classes, and they put their heart and souls into the work. They were there with bread, food, and other Spanish activities that people were able to try. And you know what? Many people, they had a good time, so that was good. Moving on to my last topic of the speech, I would like to give a shout out to our CRC, our Career and Readiness Sources, where they offered a bunch of college tours. We went to the University of Minnesota, we went to Chicago, we even went to some HBCU colleges. We just went all around the state. And I would like to give a big shout out to them to just bringing us a bunch of opportunities and resources that our students can go not only virtually, but in person. So I'd like to give a big shout out to them. But that's all I got for you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Naomi. Gavin, will you please share your report?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Just a quick introduction to those of you who have not met me, which is probably all of you because I haven't been here yet. My name is Gavin Chabika, and I'm here to represent Maple Grove Senior High School. First off, I would like to congratulate all of our fall sports on their outstanding seasons. Girls tennis achieved a historic milestone this season, finishing 3rd at state, the best result in their program's history. Girls volleyball had an incredible season, going 21-11, highlighted by a stunning upset over former state champions Zeta to reach their 2nd ever section final. They capped off their season with a thrilling final set battle against Champlin at Osseo. Girls soccer advanced to state and wrapped up a memorable season with a hard-fought loss in the final seconds of their quarterfinal match. Girls swim dive had an outstanding performance at state. Libby Bacher placed 5th in the 200 IM and 2nd in the 100 back, while Kaya Flattery broke her own school record to secure 7th in the 100 fly. Maddie Hetland earned 13th place, and Ellis Landry took 4th overall in diving to conclude an incredible year for the team. On a personal note, the boys soccer team and I had a phenomenal season, going undefeated and marching into the bank ranked number 1. Although we fell in an unlucky overtime thrower, the season was filled with unforgettable moments. Crimson football has been unstoppable, going undefeated this year. They look to avenge the boys soccer team by bringing another championship ring back to Maple Grove in their state title game on Friday. Moving on from sports, let's talk about all the great activities happening at Maple Grove. Crimson Musical Theater just wrapped up their final performance of The Addams Family, concluding an incredible series of shows. The production was a huge success, building excitement with each performance, and selling out all 5 nights for the first time ever. DECA has been actively raising money by selling chocolate bars. I've been doing my own part, selling chocolates. Though I'll admit, I bought a few for myself when I get hungry. Just throw a little dollar into the envelope, it's fine. NHS has been volunteering around the community. Recently, we helped the food group in New Hope, and I've since learned that pouring corn into bags is very therapeutic. Maple Grove's Model UN recently had a standout performance at their fall conference at McAllister College. Olivia Walseth and Ethan Lee earned the second Best Delegate Award for their conference, as did Isabella No and Sarvanya Venpati, I'm sorry if I butchered that, for theirs. In addition to these individual achievements, Maple Grove delegates passed multiple resolutions across various conferences, making this one of the team's most successful events to date. HOSA welcomed 91 members this month, which is the most ever since the club's inception, and a 360% increase from last year, so that's crazy for them. Maple Grove also welcomed 2 new amazing clubs, Cancer Kids First MGSH and Best Buddies MGSH, both of which are chapters of larger state and national organizations. Cancer Kids First aims to bring joy to pediatric cancer patients, while Best Buddies advocates for individuals in the community with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Maple Grove is also now 3 months into our phone ban policy, making it the faculty's enemy #1. Surprisingly, I was shocked by this. Everyone likes it. It's weird. Engagement in learning has skyrocketed, and I've never seen the student body so engaged and enthusiastic with learning. Which was, I mean, I'm still shocked. I mean, the first week was hard. I was like trying not to play games on my phone during class, but I got through it, and it's been great. As the end of the trimester approaches, students are making their final grade pushes, asking for extensions, and trying to turn in assignments from 3 months ago. And with preparing for finals, excitement, stress, and determination are in the air as we enter the final stretch. And although this is not from this month, I believe it was necessary to leave a report on the loss of Julia Caron, a senior from Maple Grove, who passed away on September 15th after her battle with cancer, and the profound mark she left on the community. In the wake of her passing, the response was nothing short of extraordinary. Students rallied to change the football theme to purple in her honor, and a moving release of balloons filled the sky as a tribute to her memory. Julia's father, Mr. Caron, and a beloved teacher and the orchestra director, was honored in a concert that was a breathtaking crescendo of remembrance and love. The entire school came together in a powerful display of unity and compassion, pausing to celebrate Julia's life and the impact she had on everyone around her. Thank you.
Thank you, Gavin. The student representatives review the board meeting packet in advance and are prepared to answer questions from board members on issues to seek student input related to agenda items for this evening's meeting. Board members, do you have any agenda items for which you want student input?
Sure. So we have a number of policies for their first reading tonight. We'll have another opportunity when we have the second reading, but I just wondered if there was any feedback on any of those policies that are on their first reading tonight. Cell phone, student distribution. Yeah.
By limited cell phone and electronic use during passing time and lunch, what do you mean by that?
So I'd have to look at the procedure, but if I remember right in policy, that there would be the ability to have access to the cell phone during those times.
Okay. That's it.
Any other feedback on any other policies? Okay. Well, I'll probably ask again on the second reading, if an opportunity not to put pressure on you. Thank you.
I just love what you shared, Gavin, about that the students surprisingly like it. So thank you for sharing that feedback. It's encouraging.
Any other questions for the student? It was a real nice long packet today, so thank you for going through that. I appreciate it. 500 pages. Thank you so much.
Thanks, scholars.
Yep, you may go if you want. Our next agenda item is, since we changed the order of our agenda, is the presentation of the fiscal year 2024 financial audit results. John Morstead, Executive Director of Finance and Operations, will you please start us off for the presentation? Or Kelly Benusa.
I think Kelly's setting up the table. I'll introduce in the meantime. So thank you, Chair Mosqueda Jones. Okay.
Got it?
Yep. So I'll just pass it over to Kelly Benusa, who will introduce the next step.
Thank you, John.
All right, tag team.
So, good evening, Chair Mosquito Jones, school board members, and Superintendent Heil. Tonight, our independent auditor will be presenting the fiscal year 2024 audited financial statements. We shared the preliminary financial results with the board at the September meeting. Those results have not changed. Jim Eichten, the managing partner from MMKR, will be presenting the audit report this evening. Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Kelly. Members of the board, administration, my name is Jim Eichten. I'm here this evening to present the audit results for the year ended June 30th, 2024. First of all, thank you for changing the agenda to get me on sooner. I always enjoy school board meetings, so but I do appreciate getting me moved forward tonight on the agenda. Again, this presentation is to prepare and to present the audit results for the year ended June 30th, 2024. It is a requirement of the district to have an annual financial statement prepared. That particular financial statement is also prepared using a certificate of achievement program by the Association of School Business Officials called the Certificate of Review Program. You'll find that particular financial statement is quite lengthy and provides a lot of information, so if you get an opportunity to read that particular document, it's an exceptional summary of the annual results for the year. That particular financial statement is required to be audited by an independent certified public accountant, a CPA, which is my role with the district. We, as part of our audit process, follow a standard protocol that's provided by the federal government, the Office of the State Auditor in the state of Minnesota, as well as the Minnesota Department of Education. Those audit standards require us to do a variety of things, including audit that financial statement, audit your federal awards that you receive, namely the schedule of expenditures of federal awards. We also then audit your internal controls specifically related to financial reporting. Those financial reporting internal controls are mainly here at the office, at the district office here, but they do are provided on site and throughout the district. We also audit specific controls over the federal awards you receive. And lastly, we audit your compliance with state laws and regulations. There is a list of state laws that are provided by the Office of the State Auditor. Again, we don't audit every law in that area, just those that are provided on the list provided by the OSA. In my audit process, I did issue what's called a management report. That particular management report is my document as a firm to summarize the results of the audit. I'm going to go through some of the highlights of that particular document that summarize the results as mentioned. First and foremost, the district did receive an unmodified opinion on that annual financial report. It was the opinion you were looking for. A clean opinion is a better word, probably, than unmodified. So that's exceptional. That particular opinion did emphasize one area. We did implement a new standard on capital assets this year. Governmental accounting standards continually changes, and when there is a standard that changes that impacts the results of the financials, we are required to highlight that. Didn't really change the opinion. It really just highlights a matter in your report. Continuing on, we did not have any findings in the internal control matters that I talked about previously, both in the financial audit as well as the single audit of federal awards. We did not have any findings in the internal control matters. No findings to report in the compliance with Minnesota laws and regulations. And then I mentioned the single audit of federal awards. We were able to also issue a clean opinion on that schedule, as well as no findings in that area. So all in all, no findings to report. Really exceptional results as per usual here at the district. As part of my audit, I'm going to go back before I move on. It is important to reflect on a requirement in an audit, and that is we are required to actually go back to last year's findings, if there were any, and follow up on those findings to verify that the district followed and made corrections. And we did, as part of our audit last year, have a finding related to procurement in the federal single audit space. And we did do follow-up testing in that particular area and did not have any findings to report this year, which is ultimately very important. Audits come with findings, they come with items, but the corrective action plan is the most important item of that result. So in my report, I did provide information on what I call the second part of the audit, which is the financial results. As Kelly mentioned, these particular financial results have been provided to the boards probably a month ago, maybe even 2 months ago. Those results didn't change from the information that was provided to you. My report just provides more information on trend lines, some information on trends and budget to actual information and the like. This particular graph, which you'll find in my report, shows information on fund balances both at the statewide level but also the district level. This particular presentation is a percentage that's widely used by the Department of Education to show fund balances, your equity position in your funds compared to the overall operations, your expenditures. This particular graph, the yellow graph, is the statewide trends, and we've experienced a few years back when the pandemic hit some increases in fund balances, namely due to some of the changing environment in operating schools. Since that particular time, you'll see fund balances are starting to decline as we get into normal operations at school levels. The blue graph is really the district's fund balance as it correlates to that particular percentage. You'll note for 2023, the fund balance at the district did go up, which was very planful. The increases in fund balance relate back to really strategic planning that the district does in terms of planning for fund balances, and that increase will be used over time as the referendum dollars are used over the next few years. This particular presentation, which shows the revenues on a per student basis, this shows your governmental funds of the district as a whole compared to the number of students you have. So revenues on a per student basis were $21,695 for the year. Some of the things that stand out in this particular presentation to me reflects the increase in the property taxes, the referendum dollars that you received. The long-term facility maintenance levy did go up this past year, as well as a capital project referendum, which is reflected in that property tax line. The district also received some additional state aid, both in the regular aid but in special education aid. And you're also seeing a decline in federal aid as some of those pandemic dollars are starting to wane and be used up. You're seeing some declines, which is being experienced pretty much all over the school district communities that we work with. This particular graph is the opposite of the earlier one, which shows general fund expenditures on a per student basis. The district spent $20,576 per student this past year on a variety of areas, including the general fund and other operating funds. What stands out to me in this particular graph is you can see that the general fund increase per student increased almost $1,000 per student, but almost all of that is in the classroom. If you look at the lines, this elementary and secondary regular instruction as well as special education instruction, all of those increases really show up on those two lines. So some of those increases in revenues, or not some, if not all, are going right to the classroom, which can be highlighted in this particular graphical presentation. We do, in our report, show some information on operating results, and this particular graph shows the financial results of the general fund. The yellow graph on the presentation is the district's fund balance, the equity position. You can see that particular graph, when I look at it anyway as an auditor, I see stability. I see very consistent audit results when it comes to fund balance and really consistent financial results. This past year, the fund balance did increase, but that was planned. That was planned in the district's budget as anticipated. The results here are very, very close to budgeted expectations, which has always kind of been the case at the district. We do provide information here on very specific information on fund balances. You can see This particular presentation shows the district's fund balances by category. We also show fund balance as a percentage of operations, which is really the district's calculation in that percentage. Again, I look at the 5 years presented and really show what stands out to me is the stability of it all. Financial results of the district have always been very consistent and stable, and this year is no different. A couple of other graphs that we present here that I wanted to talk about, specifically this particular graph. This one shows the general fund operating results, specifically with revenue. Overall, the district's general fund revenues in total are about $362 million. So consider yourself a district that's running an operation of almost $362 million, which is a significant organization. At the end of the year, the results of your actual results compared to budget were within $20,000, which is incredibly close. To be able to analyze and look at revenues that are coming to the district and get them within $20,000 on a $362 million budget is incredible. Anybody that's a finance person, myself, I look at that and just, wow, that's outstanding. Exceptional results when it comes to the operating account this year. On the expense side, you can see here that this particular general fund, the financial results reflect that expenditures were less than budget by about $10 million. And most of that, if not all of it, was in staff positions that went unfilled, a significant portion of them, which is something that we're seeing all over in our economy and in school districts as well as comparable organizations. The district also saw some other savings in things like transportation, snow removal, utility costs, those kind of things. This particular graph does show some information on other funds the district has. These particular funds include the capital account. You also have a food service fund. You have a community service fund. The capital account, as shown here, didn't decline this past year, but again, very plentiful. That capital does go up and down depending on operations and timing of projects. So no real concern there. Food service fund did show an increase in fund balance this past year, but again, very, very much anticipated. You're seeing very solid equity position in that particular fund. And then lastly, the community service fund did show some increases in revenues this past year compared to expectations in a variety of programs, which is a very positive trend line as well when you look at some of those programs. There, that's the last graph I'm going to present. Overall, I wanted to summarize the audit results for the year. I was able to provide, as I said, a clean opinion on the district's basic financial statements. I mentioned the district's financial report is a certificate of achievement in financial reporting. We and us as a team will be submitting that for achievement and hope to get a certificate of that again this year. The third bullet point shows there were no findings reported this particular year, as well as the finding that was initiated last year did not reoccur, which is very positive. I mentioned some of those financial results reflected adherence to budget, which is probably the most important part of the board. You're getting information constantly from administration, and to know that the audit results are going to mimic that particular information is really helpful to know at the end of the day. Lastly, and I wanted to say two last things, the district continues to have a focus on long-term funding, both from the debt obligation side, but also the current operations side. You have a long-term focus on utilizing the resources you have both in the current year, but looking forward in long-term planning. And lastly, I do want to say the financial records here are in excellent condition. When I had a minute to talk with the superintendent as part of our exit conference, I did reflect with her our consideration that your district is considered best in class. And the internal controls of the organization, the business office, and everything you do in the financial result is exceptional. And that shows in this particular audit results, it shows in everything I view as part of this audit process. And I really give kudos to the district for that particular item. So with that, I'll open it up to anything or any questions you might have for me.
Any questions or comments for our auditor? I just want to say thank you again. This is my last audit that I get to sit through. So, as the daughter of a CPA, which you know, it was a really good one to land on.
Sure.
Excellent. And kudos and excellence to Kelly and John and the whole team. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Very nice work.
Thank you.
Yeah, you make a good hype man for our district. I know a lot of things goes to our finance team and staff for a number of reasons you listed, but thank you for that presentation. I hope that the district and the community gets to hear at least a part of that in the coming days. So.
Thank you.
Just echoing fantastic results by our team and the processes we have in place, and it's just it's so essential that we have strong financials and that we've got good systems, because if we don't, it does impact instruction, it impacts our students. So the work that the finance department, the business department, and everybody does, you are creating the opportunities for our students as well. So thank you.
Yeah, I echo all of those sentiment expressed already, but I also just wanted to say for anybody who's interested in the audience that's not here, but people viewing online hopefully, if you want to know where every penny is being spent, this is so comprehensive and detailed. Like, there's nothing that you could possibly leave out of this. It's so inclusive, but it's also really descriptive, which really helps understand where we're spending money, how we're spending money, and how it impacts kids. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Board members will be taking action on that later in the agenda. Our next agenda item is the superintendent's report. Dr. Heil.
All right, thank you. Good evening, Chair Mosquito Jones.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I jumped ahead.
Oops.
It's the audience opportunity to address the school board. I apologize. I will review a few of the guidelines for those who will speak. We have one speaker, so I will make it quick because I'm pretty sure she knows all those rules. Hi, Tina. So just a reminder that we're all one community. Normally I would call to the podium student, parent, staff, community members. When I tell you, Tina, you get to come up and talk for 3 minutes, and just a reminder to address the entire board, and that we will be listening and not respond back at this time. And interactions must be respectful and courteous, and professional, civil. So with that, Tina, come on up.
Hi, everyone. I think this is the smallest audience I've ever had. It's like, hello, esteemed board members, fellow district employees, and members of our beautiful community. My name is Tina Collins, and I've been an ESP in the Osseo district since 2008. I have held many different positions over the years. Currently, I have found a wonderful work family where I've been employed for the last 15 years. Through the years, my employment with the district has become not so much of a job, but a passion. I've been entrusted with the care and safety of over 2,000 students in my years with the district, and I remember most of them. I take my duties very seriously. One of my roles is as a recess ESP, and I am one of 2 adults designated to keep 120 to 150 children safe on an open playground. 10 yards from swampy areas, 10 yards from open wooded areas, and about 1,000 yards from 2 major roadways. The actual play areas consist of a large open field, about 2 football fields in length and width, 2 large climbing structures with multiple slides, 2 gaga pits, and a 4-goal sport court. This play area also has many swings and spinners. Once in a great while, we actually have a 3rd adult with us. Not only are we supposed to keep all of our kids safe, but we frequently have to let them in to use the restrooms, get hats, gloves, or even jackets that they forgot, continuously help them solve problems or conflicts that occur, help them learn compassion, sharing, taking turns, kindness, fairness, how to be a friend, and a lot of times simply how to make a friend. We are also on-the-spot nurses. We wipe tears, bandage owies, and comfort anyone who is either hurt physically or emotionally. We are overwhelmed and understaffed. And while we do all of the above, we still have to keep an eye on all of the other children outside. We are also expected to build a meaningful and trusting relationship with all of the children in our care so that they can feel safe and nurtured. Personally, I give everything I have in me to my job as an ESP and keeping our kids safe. Even the kids, I tell them, my job is to keep you safe. You have to help me. That goes. Our administrators on site do the very
30
best that they
seconds
can.
remaining.
But they too are overwhelmed with the responsibilities that we all are entrusted with. My story is just one of hundreds, just like it across our district. We need funding in our district to not only hire qualified and committed ESP staff, but also to retain all of us that truly, truly care so much for our community's children. Thank you.
Thank you, Tina, and thank you for your work. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Now it's time for our superintendent's
Right.
report.
Thank you, Tina. All right, good evening, Chair Mosquito Jones and school board members. I want to take a moment to reflect on the incredible work that is happening around Osseo Area School District and to express gratitude for everyone who makes our district, Tina, place of excellence and belonging. It's becoming a Tina show. So. First, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to our new school board members. Your leadership will be vital to the success of our scholars. As we strive for excellence, your role in guiding and supporting our vision will make a lasting impact. Thank you for stepping up for this important work. Our Osseo Area School team is looking forward to working alongside you and building off of the incredible work that has been done by our current board. So one of the greatest joys of my Happy Fridays is visiting our schools and witnessing the magic that happens in our schools. So recently I had the privilege of spending time in Maple Grove Senior, where I saw a group of students deeply engaged in the learning and community. They were creating a small building using their newly developed skills. Now this was a building. This was like, I called it my she shed that they were developing. And it will go on sale, I'm hearing, at some point. But this incredible construction trades course is also taught at Park Center Senior High as well. This program also equips our students with similar hands-on skills in both cases, as well as opening doors to future careers. Of course, this is just one of many examples of how we empower our scholars to explore their passions and prepare them for life beyond graduation. It was really a treat to see. I'm continually inspired by the creativity and the care our staff brings to celebrating our babies or our scholars. Last Friday, we saw kindergartners adding their own personalized feathers to the class turkey, each feather a small piece of their unique identity. Another school embraced the family history by creating medieval-style crests, reminding us how important it is to honor every scholar's background and their stories. These moments made it seem really small, but they are huge where they reflect our commitment to fostering a sense of belonging and pride for each and every one of our staff and their families and students. And as always, we continue to amplify our students' voice. This can be seen through academic projects, this can be seen through our student leadership opportunities, or creative expressions. Our scholars are showing us who they are and who they inspire to be. So when we listen to their ideas and their dreams, we not only support their growth, but we work to shape our future of our community where everyone will be heard and valued. So as we look ahead, I'm confident that Osseo Area Schools will keep building that strong foundation. Together we'll continue to work towards that excellence, support one another, and to ensure every scholar has what they need to thrive and to achieve their dreams. So thank you for being part of this journey, and I'm excited about what lies ahead. So it's time for Points of Pride. A regular part of the Superintendent Update is the Points of Pride. By sharing this, we're taking the time to recognize and acknowledge our scholars, staff, and our community members' accomplishments, following our mission, which is to inspire and prepare each and every scholar with confidence, courage, and competence to achieve their dreams, contribute to community, and engage in a lifetime of learning. So this evening, once again, we'll have some of our district cabinet here to assist in sharing some of these examples from the last month.
In the area of achieving dreams, several district athletes and teams have made their way to Minnesota State High School League Fall State Tournaments. Students from 3 area high schools competed in the cross-country state tournament. The Maple Grove Senior High boys soccer team placed second in the state tournament. Maple Grove Senior High girls tennis team placed third in the state tournament. And Maple Grove Senior High football team defeated Shakopee 26-14 to advance to the Class 6A state championship game. They will take on Minnetonka this Friday, the 22nd at 7 p.m. at the Bank. You can visit KSTP website to learn more about how you can watch that game and cheer them on. Minnesota Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan stopped by Oakview Elementary School on October 23rd to serve breakfast and share a big milestone. Minnesota kids received 150 million school meals during the first full year of free school breakfast and lunches. On October 10th through the 11th, 5 students from the Osseo Area Learning Center attended a fall leadership conference hosted by the Minnesota Association of Alternative Programs, or MAP STARS program. At the conference, the OALC student leaders connected with other alternative school students, made new friends, and represented their school proudly. The team had the unique chance to explore a camp, witness the Northern Lights, and participate in valuable leadership training. Advisor Tori Nagy said our scholars left the conference with new ideas and big plans for our school. Scholars at Maple Grove Senior High School worked hard to get ready for their production of The Addams Family. The musical follows the ghoulish Addams Family, who have an affinity for all things macabre, as their daughter Wednesday falls in love with a normal boy. The talented crew was accompanied on stage by elaborate choreography, spooky set, and the orchestra. Thank you to everyone who joined us for the first School Choice Fair. Families had the opportunity to visit booths for various schools and programs, explore a kindergarten classroom, ride a school bus, get a temporary tattoo, and try out a virtual reality experience. If you still have questions or are interested in enrolling, visit our website. Maple Grove, Osseo, and Park Center Senior High School students joined others from the Northwest Suburban Conference on October 11th at the Minnetonka Center for the Arts for a day of arts-focused learning and exploration. The workshops included activities like raku firing, cover art illustration, acrylic horizons, watercolor expressions, wire sculptures, jewelry beading, and more. The art students had their chance to work with professional teachers in their respective fields and work in a professional arts studio.
In early November, students at Maple Grove Middle School put on their fall play. The students presented Junie B. Jones' Toothless Wonder for their families, fellow students, and community members. On Veterans Day, so in the area of contributing to community, on Veterans Day, students across Osseo area schools spent time on a wide variety of activities to learn about and celebrate our nation's veterans, including an escape-style puzzle room, visits from veterans, and crafts made in appreciation of veterans' service. On October 15th, high school students and Dr. Heil's student cabinet met to talk about topics that were important to them, including what students need to feel welcome and centered in Osseo area schools. The students discussed how to let their peers know what resources are available for mental health, what resources would be beneficial for students, and how to define climate and culture. In the area of lifelong learning, on a recent beautiful day, students at Osseo Education Center, OEC, participated in an all-school event in partnership with the outdoors programs of Friends of the Boundary Waters. Students experienced various activities that help develop important outdoor skills. Reading teachers at Garden City Elementary School have spent 2 recent Saturday mornings in the school cafeteria, where young learners and their families came to participate in literacy games and activities. Fiona Keel, who helped to organize the event, said, We know students do better academically, socially, and emotionally when parents and schools work together. And on October 31st, students at Maple Grove, Osseo, and Park Center senior high schools had the opportunity to try out a new meal during lunch as part of Nutrition Services Spotlight on Cuisine. The Spotlight on Cuisine featured San Salvador and Honduran food, including pupusas, which is a masa or corn, griddle cake filled with beans and cheese, or birria, beef and cheese, and cortido, a traditional spicy slaw made with cabbage, jalapeno, onions, carrots, cider vinegar, and oregano. The goal of the Spotlight on Cuisine is to educate students on different cultures through cuisine, three or four times a year, with fun and exciting menu items.
For the 18th year, students at Elm Creek Elementary participated in a pumpkin run during their physical education class this fall. Students who completed the run in under 11 minutes were entered into a drawing to win a pumpkin and other fun prizes. Students at Osseo and Park Center Senior High Schools recently attended college fairs. Students in all grades had the opportunity to talk to representatives and learn about local and national colleges, including technical colleges, community colleges, and state schools. The full student body of Birch Grove School for the Arts recently met outdoors for the school's first Birch Grove Cares Assembly of the school year. The action-packed and energetic event included dancing, egg and spoon races, and games related to the school's positive behavior intervention strategies. The student body also had a chance to give their interim principal, Miss Margot Clavin, a warm Birch Grove welcome. On October 15th, Community Education's Early Childhood and Family Education, ECNFE staff, hosted a free family fun night at Arborview Early Childhood Center and Willow Lane Early Childhood Center. The event brought in more than 100 families between both school locations for an evening of activities, story time, snacks, food and fun with ECNFE staff. Fair Oaks Elementary was a hub of activity the morning of October 29, when the school hosted a Books and Pumpkins event. Books and Pumpkins allowed families to enjoy eating breakfast together and reading books to one another in the school's Library Media Center, which was decorated with many colorful pumpkins. Students and their families decorated pumpkins based on books together at home in advance of the event, and the school displayed their pumpkin creations next to the books they were based on. Zanewood Community, esteemed school students, filled the school's gymnasium October 29 to learn from the local company, Lumen Technologies. Students rotated to 4 different stations during the hour-long event, including stations that explain fiber optics and how they get the internet into people's homes and businesses, how the internet works, how fiber optic cables are spliced, and much more.
At Oakview, as a reward for meeting the school's Fun Run fundraising goal in September, all students got the chance to move and groove to their heart's content recently during silent disco parties. The silent disco parties took place during each class' physical education time in late October, where each student received a headset that played 3 different options of music. Park Center Senior High School's Spanish Heritage class transformed the school's media center last week when they put on a 2-day Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead celebration. The student-planned and student-run event featured activities such as frame decorating, paper flower making, card writing, masks, hand painting, a photo booth, and culturally specific snacks and candy. Teachers could sign up for times to send their classes through the exhibit on October 30th and 31, giving most of this school an opportunity to learn more about the holiday and its cultural significance for countries and cultures who celebrate the day. Community Education's Kid Stop and 4-Star Express students, staff, and families gathered on October 23rd and 24th to celebrate the 25th annual Lights On After School, a nationally recognized annual event that showcases the many ways after-school programs support students and families. In the area of mission-driven employees, each October, National Principals Month recognizes the essential role that principals play in making a school great. Thank you to all of our principals for all that you do each day for our students. What a good-looking bunch, huh? In our latest staff spotlight, meet Maple Grove Middle School sixth grader teacher Allison Fisher. Principal Patrick Smith said, Mrs. Fisher is as kid-centered as they come. She goes out of her way to ensure students feel welcome and supported. I hear students say all the time they love being in Miss Fisher's class. Check out our latest staff spotlight on our website. As a reward for meeting their fundraising goal, students at Basswood Elementary School gathered outside on October 24th to watch their building staff members compete in inflatable Olympics. Staff wearing inflatables, including a dinosaur, a lobster, a snail, and a few sharks, competed in a variety of activities, including soccer kick, beach ball throw, hurdles, pool noodle relay, and an inflatable race. The afternoon was filled with laughter, cheers, and some healthy competition, and no injuries.
All right, a few final notes and reminders for this evening. Please join us on December 4th from 3 to 6 p.m. for the CBBAT Winter Sale and Open House. It's a perfect place to get all of your holiday gifts, and our students have worked very hard on them. So once again, last week we had a very successful school choice fair. If you're interested in attending but you weren't able to come, please, we encourage you to connect with our school or our schools that you're interested in, and you can schedule a tour. And this can be done simply by clicking on schedule a tour on school websites or by calling the school directly. We look forward to hearing from you. So thank you this evening, and it concludes tonight's superintendent report.
Thank you. Our next agenda item is school board reports. Director Brooks, do you have a report?
No report.
Director Douglas?
No.
Director Prince?
I do. I have 3 that all met last week, so it was a busy week. So the DPAC committee met, and the bulk of the time was spent with the committee reviewing the stakeholder survey report. So digging in really deep, understanding the methodology, and reviewing the results of that. So there'll be, I think, some more observations on that as part of their work. And then the District 279 Foundation also met, covered a lot of financial updates and investment updates. Additionally, you can purchase tickets now for the night out. It's a Western theme, and a portion of the tickets are tax deductible. So be sure to go out there and start filling up those tables. I think it's going to be a really fun one this time. Well, it always is. They're always fantastic. Like the decor, the decorations, it's just an amazing evening. So I really encourage everybody to check that out and get your tickets. And then lastly, BBAY, the Brooklyn Bridge Alliance for Youth, met, and I do want to share some of the results of their youth to youth survey. So the youth to youth survey is administered by young people at BBAY, and they were able to receive responses from 411 youth. I'll just take a few minutes to cover this, but the youth to youth survey wanted to capture the diverse perspectives and lived experience of youth today. And there's some categories of their findings. The first category is goals and dreams. And the youth's top 3 goals and dreams came out to be financial stability, meaning having enough money for needs and wants, owning a home, etc. Second, going to college after high school. And third, getting into a career of their choosing. Under mental health, having time for myself was chosen as the top feeling true for youth and having positive mental health, followed by having positive relationships with others and feeling self-love. Category relationships, top qualities youth think are most important for adults when interacting with youth were being respectful, adults being supportive of them, and understanding how they feel. Under safety, 1 in 5 youth indicated that they have been the target of hate or bullying based on their identity at school within the last year, with only 53% of youth indicating they would be likely to report an incident if it happened to them. Under technology, top reasons technology helps youth included entertainment at 77%, connect to friends, and while top reasons technology harms youth included distraction and losing sleep. And then last category, interests. Youth want to see these in Brooklyn Park and Brooklyn Center areas for sports, basketball, volleyball, things to do, art and dance, movie nights, safe spaces, be in facilities, bigger parks, swimming pool, theater, and movie theaters. So that's some of the key themes from it, and I think everybody receives the full report. If you don't, let me know, I'll make sure that you get that. Those are my
Thank you.
reports.
Thank you. Director Mitchell.
I have the fiscal advisory committee Thursday night, so I'll report on that next time.
Okay. Director Grady.
Nothing.
Okay. I have one report at this time. In District 287, which is our intermediate school district for kids with special needs. We had a retreat last meeting with the school board, talking about equity and identity and all the interactions of all those pieces in working with students and as a board member. And then mostly all the regular financials, some spotlights, and and we have policies that went forward and came back for a revision. And I was at the policy meeting today, right before this meeting, and the amount of input that they have on their policies from students and staff, and the honesty of staff reporting is really amazing. They just did a big workup on the ADA accommodations and how that works out for staff. They're really good at with students, and found that there were some things that they had been working on, but are increasing the options for those. And that is my report. The next agenda item is the consent agenda. Board members, our consent agenda items this evening include meeting minutes and financial reports for September 2024, fiscal year 2025 budget adjustments, extended educational trips, personnel items, construction bid approvals, and we have 25 grants requiring approval as well. Are there any items that you would like to remove for separate consideration? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda as written?
So moved.
Moved by Director Douglas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Director Brooks. Any discussion?
I just want to say thank you to all of the people who put all the work into writing these grants so that we could get them approved. I know that it's a huge, huge undertaking in many cases, so this helps our district in so many ways, and we just really appreciate that effort.
Absolutely. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes 6-0. Our next agenda item is the acceptance of the fiscal year 2024 audit report. The information was shared by our auditor, and John Morstead, do you have anything else to add?
No, nothing additional, thank you.
Thank you. Is there a motion to accept the fiscal year 2024 audit report, which includes the fiscal year 2024 financial management report, the fiscal year 2024 annual comprehensive financial report, and the fiscal year 2024 special purpose report? Motion.
So moved.
A motion by Director Prince. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Director Mitchell. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes 6-0. The next action item is the recommendation for approval, agreement on the terms and condition of employment between Independent School District 279 School Board and Custodians Minnesota Teamsters Local 320 for the time period of July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2026. Information will be shared by Yvonne Schwartzlind, Executive Director of Human Resources. Yvonne.
Thanks. So thank you, Vice Chair Mosquito Jones and board members. So we do have 3 contracts awaiting approval, and I will go through, provide a high-level overview. As you all know, your board packet contains materials including the marked up copies and a memorandum for, that aligns with each contract. So for the first one, it is the custodian contract with Local 320. Again, effective date July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2026. And I will summarize the changes. Effective July 1st, 2024, we have class increases with this contract for fiscal year 25, starting July 1st, 2024. Class 1 pay will start at $19.28 per hour. Class 2 goes up to $20.75. Classes 2 through 9 will receive a 2% increase, and step 4 of the highest class will receive a 4.5% increase. With this same contract, in the second year of the contract, the class 1 starting pay will be $20 an hour. Class 2 through 9, again, first 3 steps will receive a 2% increase. Step 4 will receive a 3% increase. This contract also includes pay differentials for specialized licenses and shift differentials. With the exception of the high plan, also an increase in employer cost sharing for health coverage. This 2-year contract results in a 6.61 total package, compensation package, and the total financial investment is $1,220,668. And the contract is aligned with the parameters set by the school board. And it is the superintendent and my recommendation that the board approve this contract.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the contract and agreement on the terms and conditions of employment between Independent School District 279 School Board and the Custodians Minnesota Teamsters Local 320, July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2026?
So moved.
Motion by Director Brooks. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Director Grady. Is there any discussion? We just want to say thank you to the custodial staff and everyone on this contract. You have a very important job. We appreciate it. Thank you for coming to an agreement. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes 6-0. The next action item is recommendation for approval, agreement on the terms and conditions of employment between the Independent School District 279 School Board and hourly technical for the period of July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2026. Yvonne?
Thank you. This contract consists of 46 employees in various hourly technical positions. And a summary of the changes follows. Starts with a 5% base increase for the 2024-25 fiscal year, followed by a 1% base increase for the following year, 2025 through 2026. The ranges were increased, so the salary ranges were increased by a total of 9.3%. Pay for performance will be paid as a stipend instead of being added to the base, consistent with other contracts. This contract also includes some educational stipend. This 2-year contract results in a 5.33 total package increase. The total financial investment is $269,185 over the term of the contract. And this, the hourly technical contract also is consistent with the financial parameters established by the school board. And the superintendent and I recommend approval.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the agreement on the terms and conditions of employment between Independent School District 279 School Board and hourly technical from July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2026?
So moved.
Motion by Director Grady. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Director Brooks. Is there any discussion? Again, thank you to all the hourly technical staff. You have very important jobs as well. Is there, okay, sorry. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. The next action item is recommendation for approval, agreement on the terms and conditions of employment between the Independent School District 279 School Board and Management I through M, July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2025. Yvonne?
Thank you. And I do want to point out, you just read the effective dates of the contract. I do want to point out that this contract is in the last cycle, so it was in the odd cycle of contract negotiations. This group consists of 58 employees that serve in a variety of management positions throughout our system. For the first fiscal year of the contract, 2023 through 24, there is a 5% increase to the base, followed by a 3% increase to the base in the 2024-25 fiscal year. Consistent with other contracts, the non-work days were changed to vacation days, and there was also an increase in deferred compensation, life insurance, and again, increase in the cost sharing for the cost of health coverage. This contract also contains several new MOUs, Memorandum of Understanding, and as well as a, for the pay for performance, moved to this as stipend instead of being added to the base. This 2-year contract, excuse me, results in an 8.9, of course, right when I have to talk. Excuse me. This 2-year contract results in an 8.91 total package increase. The total financial investment is $877,352 over the term of the contract. And this, the I through M management contract also is consistent with financial parameters established by the school board. The superintendent and I recommend approval of this contract.
Thank you, Yvonne. Is there a motion to approve the agreement on the terms and condition of employment between Independent School District 279 and Management I through M for the period of July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2025?
So moved.
Motion by Director Douglas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Director Grady. Is there any discussion? I just want to say this was a lengthy process to get to an agreement, so I appreciate all the hard work of everyone on negotiations to get to a final agreement. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes 6-0. The final action item is the approval of gifts to the district. Is there a motion to approve gifts to the district in the amount of $99,385.42?
So moved.
All right, we're gonna give the motion to Director Mitchell and the second to Director Douglas. Is there any discussion? Collective thank you. That is a lot of money. We really appreciate all the donations and gifts that we get. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes 6-0. Okay, our next agenda item is informational items. We have several policies and procedures up for first reading. Information will be shared by Amy Moore, General Counsel. Amy?
Thank you. So as you said, this is the first reading of the policies. We provide the procedures for information. The board acts on the policies. They will be posted for the next month, and any feedback from our community is welcome and encouraged through the policy webpage. I'll start with policy 403, discipline, suspension, dismissal of school district employees. We are working our way, almost done with the next cycle with all the 400s on personnel. As you can see, there's minor updates to this policy, no real substantive updates, both with the policy and the procedure, just some more precision to some of the, like adding procedures and employee handbooks there in section 3 on the policy. Same with the procedure, no real substantive updates, just some language precision changes. All right,
Okay, yeah.
Policy 421, gifts to district personnel. For this, the one substantive change you'll see in section 3, number 3, is providing clearer language of what insignificant value means in the policy. And then in the procedures, we reference budget managers as school officials. As you can see, that $5 value continues. Any questions?
I get questions when people want to meet with me and they want to pay for my coffee. I said, it's over $5, you can't.
I know, it is, yeah, it's,
Inflation doesn't apply.
it does not, no inflation, exactly. Okay, so policy 443, tutoring of students. Thank you to Director Douglas for pointing out that I crossed out from and then added it, so the from comes out. We'll fix that, but just some minor clarifications in that policy that you can see. No real substantive updates on that policy. Any questions? Policy 435. This is a policy that did have some updates when we had significant legislative changes. And so the updates that you see right now are kind of further precision updates in the policy, focusing on proper licensure when required, and then consistently referring to PELSB, the Professional Educator Licensing and Standards Board, which is referenced in the statute. So that in the policy, and then even more so than in the procedure, you can see those updates. All right, moving on. Policy 448 and procedure 448, workers' compensation insurance. This is actually up for repeal. That was my mistake in having it for review. As you can see, there's one sentence. It doesn't really add anything. It's not a terribly useful policy. The procedure has more information, but we see all of that information in our employee handbook. So proposing this one for repeal as not useful. All right, on to the meat. Bringing policy 505, student cell phone and technology policy. We are in compliance with the state law because we do have a policy, but taking the opportunity to add more definition and add procedures. This policy did not have procedures. What you will see in the policy updates that we did is, again, trying to add a few more illustrations and precisions like smartwatches and earbuds and AirPods, adding a statement that students are encouraged to not bring cell phones, including all those devices. And then the biggest update to the policy is really referencing section 5, where you as a board would direct the superintendent to enact some procedures to call out consequences, everything in line within the structure of what you have in that policy. In looking at the policy, it really provides a good structure for those procedures then to flow from. Then the procedures which are first being proposed put elementary and middle schools together and saying from bell to bell, we don't want to see cell phones. Describing first what the consequences for first, second, third, fourth offenses, and then for high schools, acknowledging that cell phones could be used incidentally, as the student rep had asked about, lunchtime, during passing time, but during learning time, the expectation is that the phone is not used or visible, and again, laying out some consequences. So received a significant amount of feedback prior to when we had the policy, as we were doing it in the policy committee, and then once we put the procedures up and went back out, and receiving a lot of really good, much more specific feedback, which is nice and what we wanted to see. The vast majority of folks really like the direction that we're going. They like what the policy and the procedures are looking like. Students, there have been a couple of our community partners gone to Brooklyn Middle School and Park Center and done some more in-depth conversations with them, and the feedback, I just got the Park Center one today, but it's really great feedback. What you will see kind of in some is that they agree, kind of like what you heard from our student rep. They agree, they like the policy, but they, a lot of times you'll hear about safety concerns, and even with parents, the safety concern, that's where they're like, but we want cell phones available for what if. They also, the students would like to see staff model what they should be doing and not doing with their cell phones. That was really reflective, good feedback. They don't like the harshness of the consequences. You know, we've heard feedback from staff as well, wanting us to consider looking at those consequences and how they look right now. This was our first attempt, really needing more feedback. So because I'm still getting really in-depth good feedback, I want to finish getting that. I will look at it and consult with superintendent, cabinet, associates, and other folks, and put up another, the procedure with that feedback in it. So next month, the board will be up, the policy will be up for a vote. You know, I'll do what I can to get the procedures in a place that will reflect the feedback that we're getting. But because the procedures are more administrative, the other thing that I'm hearing, both from staff and students, is, especially from the students saying, you know, we need time. We can't go cold turkey. There's kind of an education component to this as well. The student rep referenced like, oh, you know, it took a week to kind of get used to it. I think some other students and staff might need a little more time. So I am looking for really getting the feedback and finalizing the procedures, and then having some time to educate, put that information out. You know, not necessarily that it's implemented yet this year. A lot of our schools already have these policies in place, and then they would go full implementation starting fall 2025. Schools can utilize it, but it would be an opportunity to have that opportunity for a rollout with an education without necessarily, you know, January 1, a first offense, you know, right away. So that's what I foresee with this, the rollout. The policy will be in place, the procedures we will finalize, and I'll keep the board updated, obviously, as well as, you know, the public and our staff, how it's developing. But we're getting great feedback. Okay, comments, questions?
What about like a grace period?
I'm sorry?
Like a grace period, you know? Like we're implementing this January 1, but for the first month, you'll get verbal warnings before it gets taken away, you know, where it's less restrictive, but they know like, hey, you need to get in the habit of this.
Yeah, I think it is giving the schools that opportunity of how it will best roll out within their community. And then having the entire school district community in the same place. All right, then the final policy is a new one, and it's school-sponsored student publications and activities. This is in response to new legislation regarding the requirement that districts recognize First Amendment rights of student journalists. So you'll see language regarding protecting their free speech rights while balancing the district's role in supervising student publications. There's definitions regarding what it means to be a school activity, what is school-sponsored media, what it means to be a student journalist. This is grades 6 through 12. And then the guidelines, you know, good guidelines on, you know, student journalists having the right to exercise their freedom, freedom to express political viewpoints, but then also referencing what would be considered prohibited, you know, obscenity, defamation, profane, harassing, threatening. You can read what's prohibited. It's a good list providing that guidance and, again, framework. Talks about as well, when you have student media advisors, that of course they will still teach students about professional standards and list some examples of what those standards would be, as well as because we're a public entity, time, place, and manner restrictions as well. So that is what that new policy would look like. And that's it.
Any questions, board members? Again, this is the first reading, so there's no action on this. This gives people plenty of opportunity to give feedback on any of these policies. And I just want to say to the policy committee, thank you so much for all your work. I've been on the policy committee. It's a lot of detailed work and a lot of extra time, so thank you very much for that. Tonight, there will be no negotiation strategies meeting. So is there a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:41 p.m.?
So moved.
Motion by Director Douglas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Director Prince. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes 6-0, and the meeting is adjourned at 7:41 p.m.
And Jackie, I have
Request for signature.
my last meeting.